Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the New York Jets versus New Orleans Saints Week 15 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, there's always going to be some variation between various data points and variables. However, there's always going to be little nuggets of truth that could become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you are new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So starting out with this game between the Saints and the Jets, when you look at the NFL stat basic comparison data, and basic comparison data for those that are new to the channel or not as familiar with my work, you're essentially looking at how the offense is doing, how the defense is doing, and of course how the special teams is doing in terms of various kind of major data points to winning football games. And when you look at this particular area, it shouldn't be very surprising, but the Saints are pretty heavily favored in this game when it comes to most of the data. So let's get into some reasons as to why. First off, major reason why the Saints are so favored in this game is because of their offense. They have the superior turnover ratio compared to the Jets, the superior sack percentage. That's by far the biggest disparity, actually, is the sack percentage of the Saints versus the Jets. And, of course, the Saints also have a much higher offensive score percentage, meaning that they're able to put points on the board on per drive more often compared to the Jets. But not only that, defensively speaking, the Saints also have the better defense. It's a little bit closer in terms of defensive offensive score percentage. I mean, the Saints defense and the Jets defense kind of give up similar amount of points on defense when it comes to on a per drive basis. However, the Saints have the better turnover ratio, the Saints have the better sack percentage, and they also have the better interception percentage. So in many ways, the Saints are the better defense because they pretty much prevent the same amount of points, but they get more turnovers, they get more sacks, and they get more interceptions, which also falls into turnovers. But those kind of factors are why the Saints are also favored on defense, is that they pretty much prevent the same amount of points, but they also give you those sexy plays like sacks and picks more often than what the Jets have been able to muster this year. On top of that, when you get the special teams data, the Saints are favored in terms of punt return yardage. Kick return yardage favors the Jets. Defensive punt return yardage favors the Jets. Defensive kick return yardage favors the Jets as well. Field goal percentage favors the Jets. Extra point percentage favors the Jets. And punting average more so goes to the Saints. Honestly, with special teams, I would say it's kind of a toss-up. Pretty even across the board in every single down and distance. Neither one of these teams are really that great when it comes to special teams, so I honestly will give it a tie here. However, it's pretty dang clear that the Saints have the superior offense. And it's also fairly clear as well that the Saints have the better defense. So those are two main factors that I think will play heavily in this game. And is a big reason why the Saints are so heavily favored is because of those two major areas with them. Now, when you get to some other sort of data points, so now we're getting into some down and distance data, basically micro matchups, if you will. Situational football, as Bill Belichick likes to put it. And when you get to the Saints offense versus the Jets defense when it comes to completion percentage, it's pretty dang clear that the Saints just have the superior ability here. In fact, the Saints have the best first down and second down completion percentage in the NFL currently. So they are just pretty darn amazing when it comes to their completion percentage ability, which I think will help them out the most in this game. And on top of that, you get to the Jets offense versus the Saints defense when it comes to completion percentage. This particular area, the Jets are slightly favored, mainly because of third down and first down where they have a slight advantage. But I will say it is pretty kind of even on first and second. But I do think that the Saints having such a huge disparity in terms of third down is a good indicator in terms of giving them a slight edge in terms of this particular matchup. Then, of course, you get to the Saints offense versus the Jets defense when it comes to the ability to convert with the run and various downs and distances. This particular area, I would say, is pretty evenly matched. First down is pretty even. Second down more so favors the Saints, and third down more so favors the Jets. So in this particular area, again, down and distance-wise, I would say that this does pretty much favor the Saints in many ways when it comes to this data. Well, I wouldn't say the Saints, but I would say it's actually pretty even here. Then, of course, you get to the Jets offense versus the Saints defense when it comes to rushing downs. And this is where the Saints kind of shine a little bit more. A lot of this is because the Jets have such a poor rushing defense as to why the Saints are favored. But I do think there's enough things here, enough positives, if you will, in terms of the Saints defense to kind of give them the edge in terms of first and second down. And then, of course, we get to passing downs between the Saints offense and the Jets defense, where the Saints are favored on first and third down. So, again, those areas are definitely places where there's could be lots of success to be had. Then, of course, we get to the Jets offense versus the Saints defense when it comes to passing downs. And in this particular area, the Jets are favored on second and third down, carrying over kind of the tradition from the completion percentage data. And, of course, we get to sack rates between the Saints offense and the Jets defense. Pretty clear that the Saints have pretty much, the biggest success here. So I don't really expect a lot of sacks to be had in this game for the Jets. And then, of course, you get to the Jets offense versus the Saints defense, where the Saints, as you can clearly see, major disparity on second down and major disparity, well, not major, but pretty decent disparity on third down. So I do expect the Saints to get some sacks, though, in this particular matchup. Then, of course, we get to interception ratio between the Saints offense and the Jets defense, where the Saints are favored on first and third down. And then finally, you get to the Jets offense versus the Saints defense, where the Saints are favored on first, second, and third down, reiterating the fact that the Saints just have the better defense when it comes to creating interceptions. So I do think that there is a chance, a possibility, that the Saints could get some picks in this game that could make some pretty big impacts. So overall, my general impressions of this game, I don't really feel that well about it. I do see a Saints victory, but the Jets have been this wild card team this year. They've been that team where a lot of the data that I've done on them has said that they're going to lose and then they win. And then a lot of times when the data says they're going to win, they lose. Like, that has been the Jets season this year. It's been really weird. So that's why I kind of am a little apprehensive to say the Saints will win no matter what, that type of thing. But I do think the Saints will win. I do think there's enough positives on offense, and defensively, I think there's a lot of things there as well that isn't always the case with the Saints, but definitely this year, the defense of the Saints has been able to get some interceptions and do some things. But ultimately, just to kind of wrap this up, I do think it's a Saints victory here, but I just am a little apprehensive just because of what the Jets have done this year in terms of creating upsets or upsets for themselves as well, having teams upset them that really should not have upset them. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you believe is going to win this football game? And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that notification button to let you know whenever a new video is about to drop. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.